What's up, everybody? This is more of a open-ended rant, which kind of is always what my videos are. But I don't really have a specified point to all this. I was reminded again of one of the things the narcissistic girlfriend said. Hello, Boo Cat. When discussing sleeping with people, I said you shouldn't sleep with people unless you love them. To which she replied, no, I sleep with people when they prove that they're useful enough. Now, the level of disturbing that is incomprehensible to me. But honestly, everything we know about narcissistic people, it makes perfect fucking sense. So, it begs the question, I've discussed this before, their view of love is what somebody has to offer them. They don't love people like, I appreciate your personality or your mind or how generous and caring, blah, 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 blah you are. They love people because they have something to provide them, something to get out of it. So that brings me to the first kind of question is, and a question I want you to ask yourself, what was the narcissist using you for? Because it was something. Um, with me, it was multifaceted. Number one, I'm a mechanic, so she got free car work. She used me for that a lot. Promised certain things, hey, well, if you can do this for me, I'll do this for you. I never got a thing in return. And then after we broke up, she's like, well, I still want you to be my mechanic. She still wanted to use me after we broke up. Um, Definitely was used for sex. There's no question about it. Uh, Social status, for sure. I am still very well known in my area. Have a great reputation. I don't have enemies at all. Was well known in the kind of like mid-20s uh, social venues. So that was something that she could use to her advantage. Money, for sure. Boo, I'm trying to make a video. Money, absolutely money. Um, she had everything paid for her. Food, alcohol, even helped her with bills and stuff from time to time. Eventually, she started trying to use me for housing because she basically ruined the relationship between her and a roommate that she had, and she couldn't even stay at home for very long because of the relationship between her and her mother was so ugly. So then she started wanting to use me for housing as well, and I didn't have a problem with that. I was like, but look, we move in together, you're paying half the rent. Well, that wasn't acceptable. Or if you move in here with me now, you already have a roommate, you can pay a third. Also was not acceptable. She wanted everything for free. So I want you to think about, what was your narcissist using you for? That's their measure of love, is how useful you are to benefit their life. As weird as that sounds, it's true. Then I think of the old harem. The harem. I could go on for days about the harem. But when we keep in the mindset of they only stay in contact with people because they're useful, then you start to see how this harem, all of them were providing something, whether it be, attention or free stuff or any of that measure. So with my relationship, once I started, when I started to realize everything was toxic and I was just getting used, I started withdrawing all this stuff real systematically but slowly. So I stopped paying for everything, and then I stopped, giving so much attention. You can go through the whole list. I just stopped providing all this stuff that she was using me for. And then, of course, she got really fucking upset about this and found a new target. Now, this new target, she, I guess, dated for a while. And then, of course, she came back to me eventually, talking about how much of a piece of shit he was and blah, 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 blah. And I always was stressing the subject of, if we're going to make this relationship work, this new target, let's name him Ted. Say his name's Ted. If we're going to make this relationship work, Ted has to be out of your life. And she would always duck and dodge this subject. Duck and dodge, duck and dodge, duck and dodge. And then it was also thrown in my face, used to be thrown in my face. Well, if you don't do it, I'll get Ted to do it. And it was really fucking sadistic. And I could not understand, because she would always talk about wanting to save the relationship. And I was like, we can do that, but Ted's got to go. You cannot be with me and still have Ted in your life. This is just what it is. She would not let it go, would not let it go, was throwing it in my face. And then it was always, oh, Ted's just a friend. I mean, he's not just a friend. If you fucking dated somebody and slept with them, they're not just a friend when you're with somebody. So stupid, but I digress. It's going crazy now. And I couldn't understand for just the longest time, like, why the fuck you gotta keep Ted around? Obviously, it was for attention and other shit. Much, much later, I find out that he helped her buy a car. He was letting her stay at his place when her mom would get mad at her. And then the most funny thing happened. After her big grand finale with me, guess who she moved in with? Oh, Ted. My point being here is that this harem is used for very specific things, and they know that they're using them for those things. She kept Ted on the back burner so that she would have an option in the future. She could use him for things in the future. She wouldn't get rid of him for the sheer fact that she knew if it didn't work out between me and her, she still had him. She still had that open door. You know what I mean? And it's just so fucking baffling to me. Like, it makes perfect sense, but at the same time, on a human level, it just makes no fucking sense at all. So, after all the smoke cleared and got out all the bullshit, it just became so obvious why Ted would never disappear. Well, now you live with him. I can't say I'm surprised. High five, you got another free ride. But they're so fucking sick, man. They can't accomplish shit by themselves. Everything they seemingly accomplish is something that they're actually using from somebody else, Good example of that, as I continue to ramble and this video gets longer and longer, her new jobs and stuff, like, basically was accomplished through other people. People that she was using, as well as me being used for it because I made her fucking resume for it. And her roommate that she had. This girl would have never in her life been able to afford to live outside of her mom's home on her own. Never. So then she finds the girl and she uses her. And that dissolved. And then, I just can't even begin to really encompass how much they're using everybody. All the good things that have come out of this girl's life, the jobs, because she used somebody, the car, because she used somebody, the place where she's living, because she's using somebody. Everything that you think a normal person would just accomplish on their own. I've been living on my own since I was fucking 18. This girl's 26 years old and can't even fucking go out and live on her own. She has to use somebody in order to do it. Now, am I saying that financially she's not capable of doing it? If she wasn't so fucking dumb, probably she would be able financially to do it. But instead of investing in her own place or an apartment, she goes out and buys a brand new car, which she cannot afford. Therefore, she can't live on her own. Now she's stuck. And it's just the fucking level of that user fucking mentality is ridiculous. There's another guy that she was fucking around with, and she ended up trying to use him for a place to live too. I mean, I don't know what to really say now. I'm kind of lost in the point. So anyway, let me get back into the subject. Their view of love is to use you, or what you're useful for. All the harem members, all these women or men that seemingly never disappear and just stay stagnantly there, are going to be used against you, or they're in queue to be used later on. As simple as that. Now, the good thing for us is that when we realize that they're never actually loving these people, they're only using them. So that gives you some kind of relief as to where it's like, you can't get caught up in the mindset of, oh, they moved on to a better person, because they didn't. They moved on to something that was dumb enough to offer them more shit. But then that also sucks, because you also have to realize that you were never loved. My money was loved. My skills were loved. My social status was loved. Hell, maybe even my dick was loved. But me as a person, as a whole, was not loved whatsoever. So, rant over. I'll stop there. Thank you for listening.